Hello everyone, thought I'd show off my new athletic face covering. There you go. Don't worry, I'm not going to do the whole thing in it. As I'm broadcasting, so I'm allowed not to have to wear it. But welcome to the Riverside Stadium. I've seen this place fairly empty a lot of the time, but it was particularly empty this afternoon. Where after the international break, Norwich have returned with another victory. A victory that takes them top of the championship after 12 games with 24 points, I think it is. I think so. So that's 2 points per game, which is a nice average to hit. And everything's looking good in terms of the results and what they're doing. And as I've kind of said for a number of weeks, I don't know how well they're playing at the moment. Daniel Farke didn't really answer that when Chris Gorham asked him. He was quite reserved. You know, how do you judge whether you're playing well or not? It's all about getting the results, which is, you know, a very fair point. But it does feel like they have got plenty of gears there for them, depending maybe on if some of these players really kick on and develop. So there's a little bit of questions to be answered and things like that as we go forward in what is a really interesting period of the season, because I was listening to the radio on the way up on the long drive up to Middlesbrough on my own today, and they were talking about how this period, sort of November international break, is over. It becomes a bit relentless at this point, and also you're not really near the end, so it's a grind, and all you can do really is just keep grinding out the points. And if you're still in contention come Christmas, then away you go, and you really start to kick on, because you at least then have almost you've hit the turn if you're on a golf course. So, but this is the sloggy bit. So to come away here, a team under Neil Warnock, a Middlesbrough side that actually a lot of the people here seem to feel are overperforming and are doing more than perhaps the sum of the parts, whereas last year they underperformed and shouldn't have been where they were in the division, which was basically a relegation scrap. I'd be inclined to disagree with that. I think they have got some good players. I think Neil has clearly got them together so that they are well structured. They press Norwich really well, and they shut Norwich down well in terms of what they wanted to do, and then they were pretty compact, and then they tried to turn the ball around quickly. So yeah, they haven't got a particularly big squad, and they were quite limited in their chance creation, I thought, and maybe in that dynamic what they do is quite simple, but it definitely posed Norwich some problems. But what I will say is I thought Norwich actually were really resolute. I mean, I've seen Norwich come here and be completely bullied, and there wasn't any of that. The referee was awful, by the way, all game for both sides. Just had no control over it. But in terms of what Norwich were doing, I actually thought they defended really well. I know they gave the ball away in midfield a lot, and they were really disjointed going forwards, which again, given the international break, not getting everyone together, and the way Middlesbrough were playing and how they were going about things, I think it's kind of understandable. But Norwich kind of kept going. I thought they were excellent in the second half. I thought they created better chances. I thought the influence of Emi Buendia grew. And actually, they did kind of protect Tim Krul's goal really well. There were a couple of flying blocks. And generally, they defended most of the balls coming into their box. So actually, I thought Norwich defensively were very good. Ollie Skip is growing. I thought he was superb at the way he mopped up and protected the box. Thought Lucas Rupp was a little bit short today of the level from a few weeks back. He actually came off with a hamstring strain as well, so he might well be a doubt for the trip to Stoke on Tuesday, which is going to be just like this, but probably up a gear. I think Stoke are probably a better side than this Middlesbrough side. We will see. But yeah, in the second half, I thought Norwich continued to press on and created the best opportunities. Middlesbrough's best chance really came in the spell early in the second half, just before they got their penalty. And it was a penalty, as was the one Norwich awarded later. Tavernier slipped as he took it, so it was a double hit on his feet, which is why I got called off. I didn't see it live because I had my head in my laptop inexplicably, which was disappointing on my part because I've never seen that happen before. I initially thought that he didn't celebrate because he knew he double hit it. But now looking back at it, I wonder if he didn't celebrate because he just slipped. He took a penalty and it was a bit embarrassing. So that almost maybe didn't do him a favour, because the referee spotted it and maybe took the reaction into account. I don't know, but he disallowed it. Tim Krul's first reaction was, I've conceded the penalty. So I don't think Tim Krul was claiming it as soon as it happened. So Norwich may well have got away with one there. But, you know, such is life. Timo Pukki should have scored his against Derby, really. And that hit the bar, don't forget. So, however you want to view it is how you want to view it. It was an intervention by the referee, which probably makes it a little bit different. It was a crucial moment though, because Norwich, after the sort of 5 minutes after that, really got into their stride. I thought they were excellent from that point on. It really created a lot of really good opportunities, a couple of really good chances where they just couldn't get on the end of a cross. Poeta did some really good things. He's still quite raw and erratic, we can see that, but he did some really good things. And then Max Aarons won a penalty down here. It was definitely a penalty. Teemu Pukki stepped up and slotted it wonderfully low to Bettinelli's left. And it felt like it wasn't going to take much to win the game. Norwich have got a great defensive record at the moment. They've still only conceded 8 goals. Middlesbrough haven't conceded a goal in the first half for probably about 4 years, or maybe since Neil took charge. So you can see how difficult both sides are actually to play against defensively. And I think we can say that about Norwich at the moment. Norwich should have had a second penalty. Kenny McLean was completely taken out by Bowler, who went down injured because obviously it was a painful moment. So they both needed treatment, but as was the case a lot of the time, something happened in front of the referee and he just sort of stood there. So I don't really know why that wasn't a penalty. Neil Warnock didn't really complain about that at full time. He complained more about Jacob Sorensen not getting a second yellow for bringing down Bowler, which... Oh, no, I think it was Boller, or it might have been Forrelin. But, that should have been a second yellow. I agreed with Daniel Farke. I thought the first yellow was incredibly soft. There was no need for that to have been a booking in the first half, and I've said so at the time. So it was some great moments, and I've tweeted it. I think Neil Warnock sort of asked the fourth official at full time, to which he swore in response, because I think the fourth official said, look, he'd already been booked, so we didn't book him for the second challenge, which is a bit ridiculous. But by the same token, he probably shouldn't have been booked for the first challenge, so maybe that's why it didn't happen. I don't know. It's all the part of fun and games with refereeing. But ultimately, what I would say is that if today it had been a draw, I don't think you would have complained. But I don't really buy the fact that Norwich didn't deserve, and deserves a horrible word in football, but Norwich were worth winning the game, I thought. They did have to dig in a bit towards the end as well. And don't get me wrong, Middlesbrough had some really good opportunities. But the level of defending and blocking, throwing themselves in front of the ball, I thought was very good from Grant Hanley especially. I thought Ben Gibson on his return was cool and calm and generally distributed the ball very well. Max Aarons is allowed to get himself further forward, but he is having to be quite conscious about the space he's leaving behind him. And Ollie Skipper's kind of covering that when he can. And I do feel like, although Sorensen is now covering, because of course Bali Mumba is out until February, Xavi Quintilla is still out on the sidelines, the injuries are mounting, that they are more conservative in attacking on the left, which is kind of putting more emphasis on Max and him having space on the right. It's a bit lopsided. If teams get a hold of how to sort of work that out and take advantage of it, Norwich might have an issue, but for now they're managing to cope with it okay. Emmy came off for the last 10 minutes and got a kick, which made me smile. You'll find out why that made me smile on the Athletic on Monday. But hopefully he'll be okay. No Todd Cantwell, he got a knock on his hip just as they were about to leave, or the end of the training session, so they opted not to take him. I understand completely what that means in terms of conspiracy theories with Todd, but I have to go with the fact that he's just being really unlucky at the moment. We'll see how that plays out. Jordan Hugill went down with a sort of twisted his shoulder. He looks like he's tweaked his ligaments in it. That's a nasty one, because if he is missing for a number of weeks, Pukki, who had to come on, isn't fully fit at the moment. He's knackered. He's their only fit striker, unless you bring in the 23s or you bring back in Josip Drmic. I don't know who's in the EFL 25-man squad for Norwich, so who could officially be involved. Maybe that will come up over the coming weeks, but all we can hope really is that it isn't too bad for Jordan. What I will say is I want to see much more from his hold-up play, because the ball just is not sticking to him at the moment. It got a bit better as the half wore on and he was still playing, because he came off at half-time. But we do need to see a bit more. I think that covers it all. A great win for Norwich. They're in a great position. There is so much more football to go. We're only at the start of the grind. We'll see how the rest pans out. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. theathletic.co.uk. Check it all out and leave your comments and thoughts wherever you're watching this, because I'll make sure I read them. In the meantime, take care and enjoy your weekend. Top of the league and all that.